FEA Esports. What is up, Mr. Graff? Here, you there. This is operations, opportunity, and growth. Definitely one of the most interesting parts of esports. A term often used is TO, tournament operator. Um, Super fun, awesome, very stressful, but a really awesome place to grow in esports. Opportunities we're going to address, and then the growth potential. So, how does esports operations connect with growth and opportunity in esports? Well, basically, you have a esports broken up into tiers, and you have lower tier esports and then high tier esports, and these are the four criteria that we use to categorize those esports. So we have event proportions, event frequency, competitiveness, and then the state of the community. So I have broken up esports into five tiers, and they were created based on those four major criteria. And so, going back to this question, how does esports operations connect with growth and opportunities in esports? Well, growth and opportunity comes from participating in esports. Not everybody can be a gamer in esports. So, tournaments and operations are a way for people to get in on low level esports, creating a tournament at your school, creating a tournament in your community, creating a tournament at your college, and then for a group of colleges, and then for a region, and then for North America, and then doing a world. So it's this tier system where you can work your way up. So let's look at this. Tier 1 esports. These are essentially the top esports in the world: CSGO, League of Legends, Dota 2, and PUBG Mobile. These viewer numbers are peak viewer numbers. I believe these are from 2020. So it's a little bit old. The data is a little bit old, but essentially the top tier is still these. And these peak numbers are what are the most impressive, and are the most basic measure of what a top tier esport is. Now, PUBG Mobile is a little different because it is on a mobile device, but it's still it pulled 3.8 million unique viewers at its peak, so at one moment. Then we jump out to tier 2 esports. Still very high tier, still tons of professional teams playing at this level. You recognize these games: Call of Duty, Rocket League, PUBG, Overwatch, and Rainbow Six Siege. Still pulling nearly at least almost six figures for Rainbow Six. But really six-figure numbers for peak viewership of their league play. And let me jump back here really quick. Event proportions, event frequency, competitiveness, and state of the community. These four categories for tier 1 and tier 2 are very, very strong. There's just little slight differences that separate tier 1 and tier 2. Rocket League is probably the most notable tier 2 esport that's getting kind of a push to move up, but they just don't have the viewership, which is something that has been addressed recently and probably will change going into some of these next seasons. Then you have something like Free Fire with almost 1.5 million peak viewers, but the state of the community is not as strong as the other games. And then you have Fortnite, Valor, and Valorant. Arena of Valor, or in my friends, we call it Valor, is a great game, but the community's small. Tons of peak viewers, high peak viewership, but overall the community is not a Fortnite community. So it's just there's think of it as like a bar chart for each, and some of them have like a really high community engagement, but they just don't have the pro teams, or they don't have the funding, they don't have sponsorships, that sort of stuff. Here we are. I believe we're on tier 4. I probably should have had these labels right. StarCraft, I have Fortnite here again, so that's an error. StarCraft 2 and original StarCraft, FIFA, Hearthstone. And then here's Mr. Graph's favorite, Echo Arena. I put in there just because I can. The best peak viewership that I have ever seen was about 5,300 viewers. That was for a Challenger Cup. I was not playing in it, but I was a viewer. And it's really interesting to me because I feel like there is a lot of opportunity for gamers to get into these tier 5 esports. NBA 2K is actually one that's really interesting because there's professional NBA teams who have NBA 2K players who are like next to or inside of or under their organization, but they're not quite fully legitimized. There's a ton of people who want to see that become a full-on league, but it is still developing and still growing. So the takeaway here is that the tier system that esports games are broken up to is fairly subjective to an outsider, but objectively we are looking at those 4 main criteria and really trying to focus on what it is that what it is that we are doing with esports. So that is it kind of for that real quick intro. I don't want to say it's real quick because I think it ended up being like 6 minutes or something. But that's the tier list. And I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. And I want to talk to you guys more about a specific game. You saw it previewed right there. So scroll down to the next section and check out what we are looking at, which is League of Legends. Until you're there, I'll meet you there. Scroll down and I'll see you there. Mr. Graf saying, stay positive out there, gamers.